Hello, Jeff Africa, fourth video, looking good. They were in here tearing the bathroom up for a week and a half. I had to skip last week. I am also on a fast, third day of a fast, and so I'm a little bit strained right now, a little weak. If that's what you're noticing, that's why. I recommend fast. I do maybe 3-4 day fasts a year. Maybe I should do more, really, but it's good study for yourself. It's good to know that you don't need to be shoveling food into yourself all the time. It's good after the third day, after the second day, really, it gets pretty easy. You know, so it's just an interesting process to go through and learn about yourself and the way we eat food. Okay, this is going to be about Sudarshan Kriya. Okay, that's something I learned 10 years ago, roughly around 2011, and I've been doing them ever since. And so this is going to be a story about that. The title is As I Fall Back into Non-Effort, and you'll see why I'm naming it that as we go along. Okay, so about 2011, I was walking in Los Gatos Farmers Market, and there was a little Indian guy there, and he had a little booth, and he was saying, look at my guru, Sri Ravi Shankar, Art of Living Foundation is the name of the foundation. He has these breathing techniques that are really, really valuable and really produce good results. That's what he was about, and he was offering the classes, and it was up $200, $220 I think, right around there. And I thought about it, and I said I couldn't accept his guru, but I could learn how to do the Sudarshan Kriya. I have a sort of a quiet decision with myself about if I'm going to go the guru route, it's going to be Paramahansa Yogananda, and I'll tell you about that, why that had to be someday. But so I said okay. So I plunked down the money. It was a four-day class, Thursday through Sunday, about 3.5 hours a night, 4 hours a night, teaching Sudarshan Kriya. The teacher was this wonderful, feminine energy. This wonderful woman that came to teach on behalf of Sri Ravi Shankar this technique, and her just yin energy would just fill the room. It was so great. She wasn't really particularly good at intellectually explaining everything about what it was and about East-West philosophies, generally speaking, but it was. She was, quite an energy to behold. I thought a lot of her. So I went through 4 days of it. I learned how to do it. And at the end, right at the very end, she said, okay, now I'm going to ask for a commitment. I want you to do, for the next 90 days in a row, 3 months, every day, I want you to do these exercises. And I just thought, I was just out of the breathing, and I was feeling pretty good, so I said, sure. Okay, I'm in, because I thought so much of her, basically. So walking out to my car for that last day, I was going, God, what did I just do? What did I just do? I agreed to do this for 90 days in a row, which is no easy feat. Okay, it takes a little something to get that done. And I thought 2 things. Number one, I thought so much of her, and I agreed to her condition. I had to carry this out. Okay, that's what I felt. It was my impression of her that said, Jeff, you agreed, you made this commitment, you have to do it. Secondly, if I was going to get anywhere in this, and this is the beginning of my real serious efforts to get this under control, my consciousness state under control, I said I have to live by the things I agree to. I can't just let it fall by. If I agree to something, if I'm going to make it here, if I agree to this, I have to get it done. That's what my attitude was, and it's strong character attitude. So for the next 90 days, I would get up in the morning. Usually I snap awake at 3:30, 3:45. Before I'd go to work, I'd get the Sudarshan Kriya done, as well as meditation and other things too. If I didn't do it in the morning, I'd go to work, and I'd kind of think, not dreading exactly, but thinking, God, I've got to do these exercises when I go home. It just seemed like a laborious, dreaded thing, sort of, to have to do. So I definitely wanted to get them done early. So the 90 days is, long story short, I missed 1 day. So I missed 2, but I did twice the next day on one of those. So I'm considering that even. So I missed 1 day out of 90. I think that's pretty damn good. as I was doing them more and more, it created the breathing itself. This is a pranayamic breathing technique, okay? It's good to have in your bag. Is it necessary to do what we want to do here, get to the heart? Maybe, maybe not, okay? I can't say I know that, but it is a nice tool to have in your bag with meditation, exercises, eating right, pranayamic breathing, energization. All these things are nice to have in your toolkit, okay? And I noticed this. I noticed that as I began to breathe, I began to get this inner spaciousness quality. And I began to feel and understand that if I stayed in that inner spaciousness and I didn't think of a level of effort I had to expend over a certain amount of time before I could get back to my life and my routine and have all that, if I resisted that thinking, that time-oriented thinking, and just stayed in each breath and stayed in each moment and stayed in that inner spaciousness, a sense of effortlessness would sort of start to dawn on the situation, which made it very, very nice. This is as I got into them. During the 90 days, the reason she said that is because if you do these for 90 days straight, you'll break the back of your resistance to doing this breathing technique, okay? And that's essentially what happened. And along with that, then you begin to have a different attitude toward it. Like I was saying, you look at it differently, and you can get to a point where you can sort of get to it in an effortless manner. I go through it in an effortless manner. The routine I told you guys about before was the 5 things: the stretching, the meditation, the swimming, the energization, the Sudarshan Kriya, and then another meditation up the lake there. That was paramount in getting me to think effortlessly, and I'll tell you how that happened also. But this is where it began, in this Sudarshan Kriya. Okay, now here are the benefits of Sudarshan Kriya. I noticed that as I've been in and out a lot of guru-oriented programs, I noticed a lot of people don't do it very consistently or very much. This is one way out, and we'll continue to expand on this, is if you can get into an effortlessness quality about it, it becomes easier to stick to these things that the gurus are recommending that we do. I just noticed that I was one of the few that actually was doing this stuff in a consistent way. A lot of people don't have the drive, they don't have the real desire to tackle their consciousness state and to improve it enough. So we'll be discussing that further as we go along. Okay, here's are the benefits of Sudarshan Kriya. I found these are written down in a pamphlet you'll get if you find your way to them. Remember, Sri Ravi Shankar Art of Living Foundation. That's how you get to this thing, and they probably have in your area classes, and that's how you get to learn how to do these things. I know you can probably do it online too, but I recommend going to a class. That's what they had here in the Bay Area. I'm in Silicon Valley, Bay Area. Here we go. It handles stress. Okay, it promotes sort of inner expansion, inner spaciousness, which if you're stressful about the day, if you're stressful about something you have to do, it sort of calms you down some, it relaxes you, and you don't think stressfully anymore. Okay, it's a wonderful tool for that. It cleanses the body of toxins. In this breathing technique, it is a major cellular cleanser, okay, and toxin expeller of your body. So you do it consistently most days of the week. These days I don't do it every day, but I do it 3 or 4 days a week. My shoulders are kind of bad. I kind of watch how to do those. I'm going to show you an overview next video. This is going to be a 2-parter because it's so important. I'm going to show you an overview on them, but you're going to have to go to the foundation and get them from there. Okay, but I'll give you an overview next part 2. Greater present moment. Okay, it gets you in the present moment in a wonderful way. Especially when you're done, it kind of sort of dissipates throughout the day, but you're more easier in the present moment, more relaxed, and that's what we're all about now, is understanding how to get to the heart and how to get to that present moment. Greater anger management. It helps you because of that spaciousness, because it helps you handle stress, helps handle anger the same way. That sort of more present inner spaciousness that gives you room not to respond in anger where you would have done before. I'm a chef, chefs get angry. I get angry, and things get really stupid in a compact situation, in a pressure-packed situation. You have to have things go right, so you get really direct and you kind of get a little angry. And I wasn't happy with that. So with this technique, it helped me to control my anger to some extent. When I did lose my anger, when I got home, it hurt. It stung. And so I learned more and more. I don't have exactly control of it 100%, but you learn more and more that you don't want to be flying off the handle. You want to stay calm and handle things in that way. Each time you do this, straight out of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar's mouth, each time you do these exercises, it peels a little layer, like almost an onion, that's keeping you separated from your more true self, from your more spiritual, deeper, richer self, in that false sort of sense, ego mind, that we're used to. It peels a little bit of layer that keeps those two separate. So you get closer and closer through the years, and I found this to be true. That's why I'm here now. You get closer and closer to your true, more natural spiritual self, more powerful spiritual self. Do you see? A greater sense of inner freedom. On this last one of my things was, as I went out into life, I felt like I'd fallen, like Humpty Dumpty, and broken into 1,000 pieces. And I was supposed to handle life. I walked out of my house when I was 18. My dad didn't get along. Me and my dad didn't get along, so I had to handle life, which is a big thing at 18. But I was broken. I felt as though I was broken into 1,000,000 pieces, or 1,000, let's say, whatever. And these, and this is one of my senses of hopelessness, and then part of the reason why I fell in that deep hole. Okay, these sort of began to piece myself back together, as well as other things I've done, and that's what it's been about, piecing my 1,000 bits back together again, like Humpty Dumpty, and that's what I felt. And it began to do that, and that's what it does. Along with this, being able to see your more spiritual, greater self, greater sense of inner freedom. Okay, because of the spaciousness, you sense a greater freedom inside, and that's what life really is all about. Concentration, brain function. It has EKG. It'll have a little pamphlet to that. You'll see the EKG meter measurements of your brain. You can see the activity light up, in a big way. You can feel it too as you're doing the breathing exercises. You can feel the brain kind of start to pulse, and it helps with concentration, focus, and it helps get your brain activated. And because a lot of brains are dormant in the way we oxygenate our bodies, the way we don't breathe properly. Reduces sense of fear, for the same reason that it reduces sense of stress, and because it helps you with your anger, because of the spaciousness and the more presentness, it helps you with your fear. If you fear the day, if you fear something you have to do during the day, it gives you a little more confidence in your ability to push through and get through that. Immune function, okay, it's just common sense in a way. As you flush your body with oxygen in these dramatic breathing, it strengthens your immune function, immunity. And it keeps you strong and helps you from getting sick. It's very, very good. Endocrine system. It allows your endocrine system to get revitalized in a way. And how as you get older, you start to lose the ability to produce some needed hormones, especially the hormones that keep you nice and young. Okay, those sort of, they get harder and harder to get produced. So this sort of recharges that, and you start to produce hormones as you were if you were younger. The whole thing kind of keeps you young. You'll see. It really does, and this is one of the reasons why, because you start to produce hormones in the way you should have. It charges that hormone production. Cholesterol balance reduces the bad cholesterol, increases the good cholesterol. It's just that simple. It goes with the cleansing, it's common sense in a certain way. There are supposed to be, and it would make sense that there be emotional releases, because what you're doing is you're flooding your body with oxygen, and we have in our body, in our somatic body also, pockets of areas that we keep under oxygenated because we're holding repressed things there that we wanted to repress at some point in a moment of ignorance. We wanted to suppress them rather than live them and love them. Okay, and as you flush your body with oxygen, the oxygen goes to these places and activates them, and sometimes there is an emotional release as you flood your body with oxygen, oxygenate yourself. I have never personally had an emotional release, okay? I'm being honest with you, okay? I can see why it should happen. And I have a lot of things in me. I do a lot of things to get those things out, but it's been a hard thing to do. We'll discuss that as we go along, too. But I have personally not experienced that sort of emotional release because of the oxygenated, dark, repressed areas. As I went through 2 classes, one and I took it again a year and a half later for half price, just to make sure I had all the jargon down. And there were some emotional releases in the class. There was, like I say, 200 people. It was always a wonderful class. Nice to be there. A lot of Indians, but a lot of everybody else too. I did witness and hear people, women, a couple women wail out. And not common, but there were a couple time incidents where that did happen, where people were having emotional releases. And that is, how can we, it may be a little painful at first, but that's got to be to the good, because you reclaim that energy that was trapped, incised in that emotional trauma that you kept buried down there. So emotional releases also, although I have not experienced that myself, but that should be there. So I began to work then with the idea of non-effort, okay? Because who wants to have to do all this stuff? One of the keys to all of this as we move forward here is to get to a place where you can do these sorts of things without a sense of effort. If that, it'll keep you moving on that, because who wants to do this idea of constant effort of stretching or energization or the Kriya or it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be hard effort. In other words, if you get to the right place, it can be a joyous sort of experience, and that's what I've been about and what I've been after. As I come into these exercises. Right now I've been doing them up the lake, and I take about an hour and 20 minutes to do them because I meditate in between. And this is what I say before I do these. There will be no discipline required, Hidride, no effort expended or work required. For as I fall back into these exercises and relax, staying in each breath, staying in each moment, doing each and every movement in love and in joy, ever the sharp eye to slow everything down, creating inner space so the universe can come to me, work through me, doing these exercises for me and for the larger community. And that's the dictate that I have to the universe, and that's what happens. It becomes a joyous, effortless quality to it, and I enjoy going up there and doing them. And I remember early on how much I dreaded that, but now not so much. It's really, really nice. I do another one too. Into each breath I fall, and into each moment. Off the time track, into no effort. See that I behold the awesome power of these exercises, and help me love this process. Help me be strong. Into each breath I fall, and into each moment. I say both those, and it assists then in this sort of effortless quality that you experience these exercises with. And also then, once you start getting you begin to expand that idea of effortlessness into regular life. Okay, in other words, if you have to clean a house, you don't sit there and think of the time you have to expend cleaning the whole house up and think of it a one time ridden conglomerate. You just start by cleaning the sinks and the tub. Okay, just stay there. Don't let your mind wander. And enjoy each movement in love and enjoy the movement of it. That's what you do. That's what I've learned how to do. And you can make the whole thing effortless that way as you go through, doing the floors, sweeping and mopping the floors, vacuuming, dusting. You can just stay in each of those movements. And you experience a less sense of effort, and you that's what it's about in this 3D world. Effort is was too effortful. You know, for all of us, it's just too damn effortful. And anything we can do to reduce that sense of effort and learn how to do things in love and enjoy, that is all to the good. This is what I learned with magic mushrooms on the other side of the mushroom trip. Now, when I say on the other side, I mean it's a spiritual ecstasy is what you're treated to, and then it gets to the quiet space once that ecstasy is over, and you can learn a lot of things in that quiet space. And that's what I noticed, that I was moving through the things I had to do in an effortless fashion, and I go, wow, I want to be here, because you have plenty of energy somehow, and there's just not that sense of effort, and that's what where we want to go, and that's what I said. I go, this is effortless. Whether I was massaging myself or cleaning or cutting up dinner, it was all effortless, and I go, this is where I want to be, and that's what we're doing here. With the sweat of our brow, we're going to get this done. We're going to get to those lush places that are out of the arid ego mind, laborious, time-centered way of we generally operate. Okay, that's what we're going to do. You also begin to think of the difference between work and play. If you can, you play during the weekend, during the week you work. But if you're doing a job you relatively enjoy, there's no reason why play is any different than work in this effortless way of doing things that are brought on by the education of Sudarshan Kriya and that sense of inner spaciousness and off the time track. You get off the time track, you slow everything down, which is extremely powerful. We'll talk more about that. You slow everything down and you begin to do either one. With more joy, more fun, and less sense of personal effort. The God can come through you and work with you, and you'll be able to sense and feel that too. I had a tough job there, this last job. I'm running late here, but I'll explain that in part two. Okay, as we get to part two. But I refused to rush. I was cooking 300 high-end meals. We were targeting working couples in Silicon Valley. Both were they had money, but they didn't have time, or the kids wouldn't eat. So I would plan menus. I thought the kids would eat, and it was working. So we were doing 300, and that's a tough road to hoe. Especially high-end meals, way better than most restaurants. Not as good as the highest end, but some very tasty stuff. And I refused to rush. Okay, I refused to go fast. I just slowed everything down all the time. If I caught myself rushing, I'd punish myself by going out the back door and walking around the facility to slow it down. And it always ended up fine. It was wonderful, wonderful education in learning how to let go and let God work through you, and in a sense of effortlessness and without rushing. Okay, so it was quite wonderful. Okay, this is part one. I'm going to end it right here. We have part two coming up. We're going to expound on this, and it's going to be the second part to as I have fallen back into non-effort. Okay, funny thought of the day. Let me see here. Okay, I was living with a girl. Okay, somehow her sister had died. Okay, and her ashes were at sometime. It wasn't like that happened right away. Our place, waiting for her mother to come and pick up those ashes. So I said, look, Kelly, here's what we do before your mom gets here. It took a month for her to get, whenever she was in town, it wasn't a set thing. I said, look, let's get those ashes on the table. Let's put some plaster and Paris in there, get some water. Let's build a little statue of Lori. That was the girl thing. All right. And then we painted her like a little human. We could make little clothes, the clothes like she wore. She wore distinctive clothes. And when your mom comes to get her ashes, there would be a little miniature Lori that she could take home with her. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be the great thing to do? Which is, no, it wouldn't be, but just a funny joke that I thought of. Imagine her face, her look here. There's Lori. Look at her ashes. Looks like a little Lori rise like a phoenix out of the ashes. That's got to be good, but no, not really. So that's the funny thought of the day. I am Jeff Africa. I'm a citizen of Earth. I'm a loyal patriot of the United States of America, and I am not afraid. And I have these four at my back. God herself, Jeshua ben Joseph, Paramahansa Yogananda, and Mother Earth. These are the four I have chosen. These are the four that are going to help me get this done. These are the four that cut my check. These are the four that I have at my back. These are the four I'm loyal to. And with them, I truly cannot fail in this noble effort of falling from the head into the heart, which is what we're going to do here on this channel, right in front of you. Okay, and always remember, the game is afoot. All right, there you go. And I'll see you next. It's gonna be soon. In a few days, I'll try to catch up here because I'm kind of a week behind. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much. Love you all. Give me an Eskimo. All right, bye.